we have received 2 new patients to our facility. As for Petunia and her friends, it's going better than ever. So unfortunately, we have experienced some setback with our meerkat mob. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. We have received 2 new patients to our facility, a duiker and a bushbuck. So the duiker, she is now 1.5 months old, whereas our bushbuck, he is now close to 4 months old. The duiker was brought to us from a welfare organization, and we will finish her rehabilitation program and simply release her together with the bushbuck onto Shamwari. The bushbuck has quite a unique background story. He comes from a golf estate where a few dogs got hold of him and unfortunately grabbed him by the backside until eventually the vets had to amputate the tail. And so when he arrived, his little tushy was completely shaved clean. It looked ridiculous, but we are very proud to say that he's doing extremely well. His hair is growing back and he is moving slowly but surely closer to his final end of his rehab program, where we will finish off in the pre-release camp and then simply release him onto Shamwari. As for Petunia and her friends, it's going better than ever. Looking back at her rehab journey with us, it is such a feather in your hat to see where she started as a 1-week-old lonely buffalo with this tiny little warthog as her friend, eventually developing a few identity problems thinking that she's also a warthog, until eventually we can pair her up with her own kind, where you can see that she is growing and developing as an individual buffalo. Very sassy, very social. So yeah, it's amazing to see how long journey Petunia has spent with us. We've had some interesting times, some challenging times, but some amazing times. Petunia, she's also known as the social butterfly of rehab. In the middle of the drought, we had to become really creative with providing them natural food in their enclosures. It was so dry that vegetation didn't grow. So we allowed them to actually walk throughout the rehab center wherever they'd like throughout the day, only to bring them back at night and then at feeding time. It was amazing to see that as soon as Petunia had the opportunity, when we opened the gate, she will run straight out to her warthog friends, to the sable friends next door, and she would physically go around the rehab center and just go and visit everyone. Hence why she got the name, the social butterfly of rehab. So Petunia and her gang, they have probably about another 2 months left in rehab. We will then send them to our pre-release camp, which will be fairly easy. I'm pretty sure them being used to all the freedom in the rehab center that they will willingly enter the pre-release camp themselves. So it won't be too much of a hands-on process to get them in our pre-release camp. They will finish off their rehab journey in the pre-release camp for about a few months. Then we will do the final release, which will actually be back to where they originally came from. Meerkat rehabilitation brings a lot of challenges along the way. You have to be extremely patient because we physically have to wait for each individual to arrive at our rehab center to eventually create a mob of meerkats or a colony or a group. So unfortunately, along the way, you do come across some problems. And unfortunately, 2 of our meerkats lost their lives due to a snake bite. So a snake got into their enclosure. It is one of their natural enemies in the wild as well. Some of the challenges that they'll meet in the wild. So it is completely a natural cause. Their natural instinct is to go and investigate, attack, maybe play, but unfortunately they lost the battle. We have experienced some setback with our meerkat mob, but as always, we move forward, and I'm very happy to announce that we have a new meerkat individual introduced to our 2 other meerkats currently in rehab. It was a very easy introduction. Our new meerkat goes by the name Pandy. She's probably one of the most passionate meerkats I have ever met. Definitely changed our entire concept with handling the meerkats, as she is definitely a very feisty little meerkat. But she has stepped up and she is currently the group's new alpha. It is amazing to see how their behavior can just change 180 when they step up and become the alpha. Their priority is to actually protect those other meerkats in their group that falls underneath them. And it is just so awesome to see what they are capable of. Our meerkats, we still have a long journey ahead as we are waiting for more individuals to be brought to our facility. So at this stage, it's a waiting game. While we wait, we make sure that they stay happy, healthy, enriched, until we have more meerkats to actually slowly introduce them to each other.